This is a show that everyone can have an opinion about. Some of them are nice, some of them are filled with praise, and some are downright vicious.
Hi, I'm Xavier.
Hey, I'm Bree.
And welcome to MelodiFIGHTivalen,
the extremely subjective Eurovision opinion tournament, or S1E7, as I've just called it.
Excellent. We are up to our grand final for our 2016 MelodiFIGHTivalen. We have not had one of these before. It's been an epic battle. With us today to decide who gets the glory for 2016 is the lovely Jessie Walsdorf.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be on board.
We're excited to have you here.
Jessie, we've put a lot of pressure on you because a lot of the times Dave and I disagree a lot. Ooh. So you could actually be responsible for all of this. So no pressure, but...
Great. Well, Bree, you're already getting my vote with your earrings. So... You know, Zave, you've just got to work a little bit harder now, okay?
We have a couple of questions for you that we've been asking all of our guests. Number one, what is Eurovision?
Oh my gosh. Why do you start with a really hard question? Oh, wow. Well, Eurovision to me is boldness, brightness, colour. I think it's just something that you just need to sit back and embrace for the beauty that Eurovision is.
What a great way to kick off the grand final. I love it.
Do you have a favourite Eurovision song?
Look, I have always been a massive fan of Kate Miller-Heidke. So it just has to be Kate Miller-Heidke's song. I was even listening to it today. Yeah, I love it so much. And just, it was just incredible.
I think she did us proud, especially for representing us from our first national final. I mean, there's more opinions that could go into that, Bree. But I think she did us very proud.
I have a feeling, as you might have figured out through this whole thing, I have many feelings, but no, Kate was beautiful and she was very, very worthy.
What's your history with Eurovision? How did you come across it? How long have you been watching it for?
Probably the last 3 years. I've been pretty dedicated to watching it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the hype around it. And it wasn't until a friend of mine had a Eurovision party. I thought, great, wine. That's fantastic. And we all had to bring a plate from our favourite country that had gotten into the final. So I actually had to study which ones were in the final. And I was like, oh, I get this. I understand it. And since then, I've just loved it. I've loved it.
Are there any songs that aren't in the final that you really loved, that you're upset didn't make it?
You'll have to refresh my memory because I watched all of them and then was like, I like that one. The guy, and he had like a white jacket on.
Johnny.
What is it?
Lithuania.
Johnny.
Lithuania. And then he comes out in the black and he just committed.
He does the flip and he's got his hair and...
He's got the hair. Yeah, I'm a sucker for hair.
Yeah.
That one was one of the ones where I was like, he's got to be in.
He got through to round 3, did pretty well, but then came up against one of our grand finalists. We are at our grand final of Ukraine versus Belgium, but first we'd like to find out who is on our leaderboard beneath that. So we're going to do a runners-up final to figure out positions 3 and 4. Let's look at Bulgaria's If Love Was a Crime and Israel's Made of Stars. Israel. They didn't make it through to the grand final, but we're going to find out where they sit in the top 4.
This is really hard. I feel like I'm picking between my two favorite children. I feel really bad because I love both of them. Both for the same reason, just because they make me feel something. They make me feel very different things. I won't go over what I think of the staging of Hovies. I think I've discussed more than enough my dislike of the random death wheel in the background. I just want to point out again that every time I watch it, my favourite moment is when he hugs himself and he does his little hug at the end and he sings and he's hugging himself. Just makes me feel so happy, and I think it's beautiful. Also, he has a jawline that could cut glass, and I think that's worth pointing out. He has an excellent jawline. Polly is who I pretend I am when I'm home alone and I put music on. She's in her moment. She knows what she's doing. I love them both. I think I might be one of the reasons I've made it this far, because I do love them so much. This is going to be really hard.
Well, first of all, with Bulgaria, then I saw her earrings and it was all fine. And then when they lit up, day made, like lit up earrings. I feel like I've got similar earrings on, actually.
Oh.
Kind of similar. What I did find was I thought that the background graphics were quite overpowering. So I felt like they often shone a lot more than she did, until obviously she actually literally shone. But yeah, in general, loved it. Awesome. Especially the dance moves. Can I do it? Can I get up and do it?
Yeah, please.
All right. Are you gonna get up and do it with me?
I'm wearing tracksuit pants, so.
All right. I'll just do the quickie leggy thing. See if I can anyway.
And how about Made of Stars? What are your thoughts of that one?
Oh, well, at the start, I just didn't think it was going anywhere. And then it just built and built and built. And all of a sudden, I just wanted to get up and do this amazing contemporary dance to it and not stop and spin around in circles. And he had me captivated. It was beautiful. Loved it.
What were your thoughts on the wheel in the background?
At the start, I was like, not really loving it, because it was kind of off to the side. And then when it lit up and it started kind of getting momentum and the music built and the lights built, I feel like it really found its place. So I loved it towards the end. I thought it complemented it really well. I thought it was quite distracting at the start, because I was like, what's the point of this while he's singing a lovely ballad? And then as it built, I really fell in love with it and I understood the reason they had it there.
We've got Bree and my feelings on these two songs pretty well documented at this point. But Israel's beautifully well sung, just a really awesome showcase of Hovi's voice. Interesting staging, but he's really in the zone, which is all we need. And Bulgaria's If Love Was a Crime is a banger. It gets me pumped up every single time. I love the dance moves. I think I've danced every single time we've listened to it. in these episodes. It's catchy. It has some Bulgarian in it, which is awesome, and that's really exciting. And I love it when they have native languages, not just English. So with that said, for our runner-up final, I'm going to put in a vote for Bulgaria.
Ooh.
Oh God. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
No, Israel. No.
Well, how about I choose what I want and then
I'm going to say Israel, so it's Jessie's fault. I'm saying Israel, and I love Hovey, and I'm wearing my stars, and I love you, Polly, too, but I'm saying Israel because I think it was very underrated, and I'm making Jessie responsible for what happens next.
You're making me responsible. Okay, so it's actually, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, it's going to be Israel.
Whoa. So, congratulations to Israel and Bulgaria, 3rd and 4th place in MelodiFIGHTivalen, the very first season.
Xavier, before we move into our grand final, I think we need a palate cleanser because I'm very emotional about what I just did. So I'm very interested to hear what your favourite Eurovision songs are.
Me?
Do you have like a top 3? Yeah, like what? Tell me.
Oh, a top 3 is hard. There's so many Eurovision songs that I love. And I always have a favourite every year. If I have to go with one, it's probably Euphoria, Laureen, 2012. Just an ultimate Eurovision anthem. Followed up closely by Heroes by Mons Zemelu, and of course Rise Like a Phoenix from Austria with Conchita Wurst. They're all winners too, which is interesting. I thought I had like the Midas touch for a while because all my favorites won. But yeah, I thought I was like, yeah, I'm loving the winners. Yeah, I must have really good taste, and then that stopped. Bree, how about you? Do you have an all-time favorite or a bit of a list of your favorite Eurovision songs?
I have a list. How long do you have? Like, mine just goes on forever. I'm the opposite with the Midas touch. I am usually in love with whoever comes last. Or some of mine don't even make the finals. Mustache was last. I love Mustache. That was so funny, from France. I Am Yours from Austria after Conchita won, and it was the Flaming Piano. You from Sweden in 2013, and Switzerland from 2018, I think it was, Stones. It was a brilliant one that didn't make it through. But I think to pick a favourite, I feel really bad. I
This
love
whole thing's been
Sunstroke.
very tough on Bree. There's been a lot of emotions.
Yeah, you're so invested and I love every second of it.
I'm so emotional. I think a Sunstroke project is just what Eurovision is, but I think if I look in my mind, it's still Ruslana from the first one I watched, Wild Dances. She just gets me every time. That's what it should be.
If that explains our tastes a little bit to you after watching these episodes, hopefully that makes you feel better about this bracket. Speaking of this bracket, it's time to jump into that grand final. Ukraine, 1944 versus Belgium. What's the pressure? Let's see what happens. So the grand final begins. Bree, our friendship has lasted this long. I think we're still okay after this, but let's see what happens in this grand final. I might kick us off. They're really hard to compare. They're both really well-written songs. What's the Pressure copped a lot of flack for being Another One Bites the Dust, but that's because they both start with 3 bass notes on the same note, and I think that's where the similarity ends. That's not including the ba-da-na, da-da, da-da-da-da-da, as opposed to bump, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that they're still funky bass lines, but they're different. And I'll die on that hill. Because, yeah, it's not a very derivative song. I think it's really well written.
Dave, I'm going to jump on that hill with you. If you're going to copy a song or use a song as an inspiration and it's Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, then you've got it going on. It's not like it's derivative from, I don't know, Wham or something. I don't think it's a fair criticism to say, oh, it sounds a bit much like the greatest band ever and one of their most popular songs. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing.
I quite enjoyed that it sounded familiar from the start, going, ooh, this sounds like Another One Bites the Dust. And then it's like, hang on, this is taking me in a whole different direction. Now we're going Jackson 5, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that funky throwback, I think makes people go like, oh, I'm familiar with this. And you take a step back, but it's really good. She gets a really epic note out. So tell me what's the pressure? Like, it's really up there. She's been dancing for 2 minutes at this point. Amazing. So tell me what's the pressure? But then 1944 is such an interesting song. It blends some really contemporary sounds with some really traditional sounds to tell a story that fits those two things. And the fact that it stops near the end and she builds it back up with that prayer. And props to Jamala. I don't think we've mentioned that she wrote this song, which is really cool. And my last point for Belgium is that the backing lines are really good. They're not just so like they don't just move together with a "you will know." We've got this "you will know." It's different directions moving, and it just makes some really nice harmonies. And I think they're used really well.
Jamala is just so interesting, and the composition of the song, obviously having the different parts, and then the language other than English is done so well. Whether you know what she's singing about or not, I think it's very easy to get into the emotion. And Laura, I could just listen to her sing all day. It's so fun, and somehow in her voice, I don't quite know what the words are to What's the Pressure, considering I've now listened to it about 400 times. I still don't know, because I just get so excited that she could be saying anything and I wouldn't really care. But lyrically, it's a very Eurovision-y statement about, you know, not caring, moving forward, having fun, being positive. That's very much what Eurovision is, and I think that's always a good thing. We always need one of those happy, you can do it songs. Lyrically, Jamala's what a ballsy move to come out and make a song about, you know, the annexing of Crimea when it just happened again. I applaud her and the Ukraine for doing that and using the platform. Some people might not like that. Some people were very against it, obviously, because it's not supposed to be political. I think we can also go back to throw that back is Waterloo is about a war. So that's political. So if you want to play that game, which I don't think anyone's wanted to play that game before.
Let's all play that game.
There's just one line in the Ukraine, which is the you think you are gods, but everyone dies.
You think you are gods, but everyone dies. Don't swallow my soul.
Every time they say that, it just still is so emotional. I think it's just one of the most beautifully written lines.
Well, you couldn't get two further apart songs, really. I mean, this is insane that we have to compare these two songs to be the ultimate winner, because they're both incredible in their own right. Ukraine, I don't know the backstory of it at all, and I didn't obviously understand the lyrics either, but I didn't need to. She told it in such a way that I was there, right there with her, and she seemed to have a beautiful kind of balance of telling that story in a really powerful way and not feeling like we were on a downhill slope or anything at the end. It was, it just felt really powerful and amazing that she wrote it herself. That's absolutely incredible. Belgium, so much fun. Oh my gosh. Just from, the moment they came out and I was just like bopping along. You can't help it. You can't help but bop along. I really wasn't listening to any of the lyrics either. I was too busy dancing along, looking at her gorgeous glittery outfit and the incredible singer dancers in the background, singing and dancing the entire time, all of them on stage. Incredible.
Jamala hits so much into it. You know, she's got that operatic, she's got the whistle tone, she's got some really deep singing parts, again, technical term, singing bits. So there's so much in there that can feel a little bit too much because she's moving through them so quickly. This could be the first time you've ever heard it. Not everyone watches beforehand. Not everyone wants to look up what the song is about. This is a contest that is just, you know, live on TV, listening to it once. So I think all of her tricks could be a bit much for some people. Whereas Laura is just classic pop vocals. She's consistent the whole way. I don't think she tries to do too many interesting things, but she's also dancing the entire time and never drops a beat, never drops a moment. She's never out of breath. Whereas, again, if that was me, I would be trying to like run to the middle of the stage, trying to do it all. So she is just so confident. For me, her vocals are consistent, and that makes me feel that she's confident and safe, whereas Jamala's are exciting.
Again, you can't compare them. They are both incredible singers, both in their own rights. Jamala's, her deep alto voice is just incredible. She just has such a control over her voice as well. And you can tell that she's so trained, technically trained in what she does, but she brings emotion to it as well. And that's a really unique quality that she's got there. Really sells the song. Belgium, loved it. Could not have faltered her voice. And that's it. She wasn't trying to be tricky. She wasn't trying to do wonderful vocal things. She was just having fun out there and dancing her little heart out at the same time. Amazing.
They were both going for two different things, and they absolutely smashed those two things. Ukraine's entry had just so much emotion, and it was so raw. And to be able to do that, not just twice in the semi-final and the grand final, but just in all the rehearsals and everything, it just is amazing. And then at the same time, you've got this super exciting party in What's the Pressure. She's really engaging. You can't help but see her face at the very start. She hasn't even danced yet, and you're like, yeah, cool. and then she sings it really well, and the dance moves are legit. There's legit boogaloo in there. There's some really intense isolations and some fancy footwork going on. And I've said it before about the shoulder look, boom, boom, but the start where they do like the hip roll and like disco hands, it's so much fun.
Don't ask me why the sun is shining.
And yeah, not only can Laura sing it and dance it the whole way through, the four dancing on stage, they nail it as well. And it's such a cool, diverse group as well, which I really love to see on the Eurovision stage. I'm into it. I'm here for it.
They're so different, but they, just smashed out the park. I think with Belgium, one of the most exciting parts of the whole song is, again, Eurovision, you get 3 minutes. That's not a lot when you think about it. Historically, they're repetitive songs for the nature of the contest, which we've already spoken about. But the start and the end, she's not singing. The start and the end are dance moves, and yet you are so engaged there with her. The end when she does that, like the song, you're still involved in it. She stopped singing, but it's still exciting, and you still want to be there, and you want it to keep going. You don't want it to stop. The difference between the two is in that performance quality. Is Belgium, I want more, I want to keep going, I want to be involved in that party, I want to keep doing it. Whereas Ukraine is just so emotional and it's intense, but I don't know if it could keep going. Probably for Jamala as well. I don't think she's happy for it to be over because she puts so much of herself into it and she knows what she's there for. Both of them are highly professional. They know what they're doing. They know their mark and they don't falter throughout the whole thing.
With the Ukraine, it was, she basically didn't move, but she didn't need to. It was just incredible. Her voice said it all, and her body language said it all, that she did not need to move from that spot, and I don't think she did. There were moments where she did close her eyes a little bit too much for my liking. Some people get so into it that I'm like, I want to see your eyes, I want to see your expression, because that's where the emotion comes from. But apart from that, she was wonderful. Belgium, same as Bree, I just wanted it to keep going. They were bouncing all over the stage and it was wonderful and I couldn't keep up, and that's great. I love their use of space and the stage, and the choreography around Laura as well was just amazing and energizing. I could have kept watching and watching and watching. Bring on a whole concert.
Jamala obviously had some very interactive graphics with her. We've talked about the tree that comes up, that's very interactive. I think Belgium used the stage, obviously they moved around, they used every part of it. They went out into the supplementary stage to get everyone involved, whereas Jamala was very centered, but I think that was a very deliberate choice to draw us into her.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think all the staging for both, whilst they both have really, really different approaches to their staging, both of these are a really good example of the staging having a purpose. Neither of them had staging just for the hell of it or just because they needed to add something. They're both really thoughtful and really purposeful and in support of the song and in support of the whole thing, not just, oh, we've got to do something on stage, let's figure that out. Like you both said, Jamala stays so still because she's telling that story. It's from here. It's not about out there. But What's the Pressure is all about. Come in, let's all come together. Let's do this. So they go to the audience. They fill it with choreography that suits the style. That choreography, I've talked about it over and over again, but it's really great. A lot of it's simple. The little like train hips.
Yes.
But it's so cute. It's so fun. It matches the song entirely. I think if they went for overly like the whole time rather than just some fun, simple stuff, it'd be wrong. But then they do have some intricate stuff in there as well to support that.
This is fiction.
Looking back to the costuming, I think it's very different. I said this before with another contest. If the costume actually is necessary, could you change it out? I think Jamala's is nice. I think it's interesting, but it's nothing to write home about. I think she can do that performance in 100 different costumes. Whereas I think Laura, while it's not a costume that matches necessarily the song, I think it is spectacular. Her little sequin outfit, the jacket, I just think it matches so perfectly with the vibe. I love the white in the background. It's so Eurovision without it looking tacky and overdone. I liked that her and the backing dancers were matchy but not matchy. I liked that even her silver had texture. That's one thing we see with Eurovision is just sparkles, whereas the fact because she had the jacket, she had the shorts and everything, there was still different pieces, so there was interest there. I think she could do that in 100 different colours of that costume, but I think changing her costume would really be detrimental to the song because I think it was integral to it. I enjoy certain parts of 1944. The jail bar lights, I think, are impressive. The tree is spectacular, but the whole thing doesn't necessarily grab me with the design. Belgium's fun. I still love the little flick with the scarves at the start. I almost wanted them to bring them back. I don't know how. Or for them to turn around and them have the colours on the back because it's obviously a bit gimmicky with the Belgian flag, but I don't care about gimmicks in Eurovision.
I feel like Bree just got into my head and just explained everything that I was also thinking. So I am the type to go into Eurovision not having watched. I like being surprised and I like not having the backstory. And then if I really like something, then I can go and rewatch it. And I love that as well. So with the Ukraine, I feel like I needed a backstory to understand all the styling behind it, what the symbolism was of the jail bars, although they were so impressive, and the tree and the red. There was so much red, a little overwhelming red for me. But I'm assuming that if I knew the backstory, then I would understand the styling, the lighting a lot better. So that is definitely one that I would have gone back and rewatched again and again once I understood what was going on.
Except for maybe the tree at the end of 1944, I think for both, all the graphic stuff is supplementary. We're not supposed to really be focusing on it. It's everything else is in service of the performance and the song. So I think with that in mind, they really did their job. In some ways, these two songs aren't particularly Eurovision-y because I can't really compare them to other songs. Obviously, there's been some other funk-style songs, but nothing that screams What's the Pressure. In 1944, there's nothing else like that, especially in Eurovision. But that said, the feeling of them is very Eurovision, that like the intense passion or the intense excitement. Both of those things are incredibly Eurovision. Not helpful in terms of our vote. I don't know if I've convinced anyone either side. I don't know if I've convinced myself either side.
I agree with you, Xavier. I don't feel like either of them are very Eurovision-y how I would typically put it in the box. But, still enough sparkle to get away with it. I think they were both bold choices. And that's what Eurovision is about as well, is making those bold choices and committing to it. And they both completely committed in their own ways. And that's what sells the song for me. And I think that's what Eurovision is about.
I don't really know what I think Eurovisioniness is. And I think that's maybe the desire is that it's whatever you want it to be. And I kind of like that. you know, Eurovision is supposed to be, I think, a fun thing to whatever you want it to be. And I think both of them do two very different things. I do think there is some comparisons to other ones. For some reason, What's the Pressure feels very much like Tonight Again by Guy Sebastian. You know, the singer and the very interactive backing vocals and that fun groove kind of thing. I kind of like that. Jamala, I think there's a couple of really powerhouse ones that I could compare her to. I feel the same intensity that I got with Conchita, very different and very different songs, but that intensity of you come to me, like you listen to what I'm saying when I'm here, you come to me. Yeah, bold is a great way to say it, Jessie, and that is Eurovision-y. Again, it's what I want to feel out of Eurovision, and what I wanted to feel then and what I want to feel now might be quite different things.
I'm in the same position. I know which one I preferred at the time, but now it's not so clear. Jessie, why don't you start us off with the vote?
Well, this song basically encapsulates everything I love about performance, and I resonate so much with Belgium. My vote is Belgium, without a doubt.
Excellent. All right. Let's see if it's decided after this next vote or if I'll be the tiebreaker. Bree, where are we?
I just have to go with my gut. And it's the gut of someone now in 2020 and what I need and what I want. And my gut is Belgium.
Wow.
So, Xavier, you're irrelevant, but still tell us. Make a vote.
I'm honestly still unsure.
Totally irrelevant, but your vote is irrelevant.
Yes.
You as a person, you're relevant.
Thank you so much. I love both of these songs. I'm going to honour 2016 Xavier and vote for Ukraine. Let's officially congratulate Belgium as the winner of MelodiFIGHTivalen, the 2016 Season 1.
Can I just say that watching all of them from the very start of the contest, I actually still would have chosen Belgium as the winner out of every single one. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Wow.
I really love it too. I remember watching it going like, this is great. And I also remember being worried about it starting the show because the first half generally doesn't do as well as the songs in the second half. Let's look at the results. Let's see where we've gone from the very start all the way through. We knocked out some favourites early on in Poland. Russia went out in round 2. France was out early and Iceland as a non-qualifier made it quite far in this contest, which is really cool. Another wonderful treat has been having Jessie here with us to help us decide who wins in the end. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. This has been so lovely to have you along, and thank you for sharing the love of Eurovision. Because, it's something that obviously Xavier and I are very, very nerdy about. So anytime we can capture someone and let them talk about it for a while is such a treat.
I bring such a naivety of Eurovision to you. It's so lovely to hear how passionate you are about this and breaking it down. It's gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to look at Eurovision in a whole different light because of this.
Oh, that's lovely. Hopefully in a good way.
Oh, yes. I'm actually going to be one of those people now that studies them all so that I'm well prepared for the final, and then I can be emotionally invested as much as you guys.
That's great. That's what we like to hear. Another Eurovision convert.
Yay!
As well as being a fantastic guest and an all-round wonderful person, Jessie is also an amazing marriage celebrant. Check out Jessie Bell Ceremonies in the description below.
Thank you so much for watching MelodiFIGHTivalen. Thank you, Bree, for being such a wonderful co-host. I hope everyone has enjoyed watching.
And Xavier, thank you for being so wonderful. We can still be friends after this. I might just need a bit of time to get some of my favorites kicking out, but it's just been so much fun, so thank you. I hope anyone who has come along for the ride has enjoyed it. Please let us know your opinions. As you can tell, we are so excited to talk about Eurovision and can be convinced of things. So change my mind in a very nice way, but change my mind. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, we love we love a positive community, so let's keep it friendly in the comments. But also, what we really want to hear now is what's next. What Eurovision subject should we tackle? Another year? Something entirely different? Let's see what happens. Have yourself a lovely 2016 into a lovely 2020 and beyond, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments who you would have voted for.
And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button.
And please consider subscribing.
See ya.
Bye-bye.